All right, hello, everyone. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure we were actually going live. I think my phone's being a little bit slow today. So welcome to our fourth Leadership Talks. Today we're going to be talking about changes. I'm here with Sarah and Lorraine with Serrano's Mexican Restaurants. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves? Let everybody know what you guys do for Serrano's. Everybody. Lorraine's a little nervous, but she'll be fine.
I'm Lorraine Serrano and part owner of the Serrano's Mexican Restaurants here in the East Valley. And I'm in charge of our kitchens. And
I am Sarah. I am a grandchild of the owners and the niece of the owners now. And I help out in day-to-day operations.
She also runs the catering.
Yes.
And Lorraine is being very shy. She's the executive chef of Serrano's Mexican Restaurants. And we've been working on her getting very comfortable with saying that out loud. So one more time for everybody, Lorraine.
I'm Lorraine Serrano. I'm executive chef of Serrano's Mexican Restaurants.
Perfect. Very good. Good job.
Thank you.
I've been working with these lovely ladies for what, 5 months? Something?
Just about,
Yeah, almost 5 months. And it was, yeah. I spend more time with them than I think I spend with anybody else in my entire life. And it's wonderful. We have a great time working together. Most days we're hysterically laughing. We're getting a lot of things done. We've literally, I think, covered every piece of what we could possibly cover within this business.
Yeah.
Over the last 5 months, and it's been really amazing watching these ladies and working with not just them but the rest of the family on all of these changes. I really wanted them to come on today because change is not easy for people. It's not something that is easily digestible, and then you throw in the fact that we were all in a lockdown situation, and on top of dealing with all of the struggles and the hurdles that happened with COVID, we now have to have so many other layers and levels of our businesses that we have to pay attention to that we maybe didn't have to before. And being next to you guys through this process and like watching it, I mean, it's been amazing, like how far we've come, how much we've done every single day, but we were only able to do it because we were in a situation where change was something that you guys were somewhat open to, some more than others, but we brought you far along in the process. So how has, for you guys, how do you feel the amount of changes that we've kind of dove into? How do you feel like that it has impacted this business? How has it impacted you maybe personally? Lorraine?
Wow. Me first?
You first.
Come on, Sarah?
Okay. I feel like coming in as the younger generation and trying to kind of pull the business from what we've been doing for the past 40 years has been very difficult, and you're met with a lot of
Resistance?
and yes, resistance. There you go. And so I think through this process and through the change that we've been able to, it was very enlightening and encouraging for me through the process, because I was able to finally see that everybody was open to it, and stuff can get done and we can change things and better the business along the way also.
I think one of the biggest things that I've noticed along the way, especially over the last 6 to 8 months, is that I think for the first time for most businesses, and for especially what I do, I go in and I kind of have to say everything that's wrong, right? It's not always sunshine and lemons, but it's hard. I have to go in and I have to say the hard, and I have to point these things out, and these are things that are super, super personal, right? You put your blood, sweat, and tears into this business, so it's not always easy to hear, but I will say that I think the pandemic did something for everyone in this industry that we don't necessarily pay attention to, and I think everybody should kind of pat themselves on the back. It gave everybody an opportunity to kind of say, you know what, for the first time, I'm more scared of not changing than change itself, because I don't have a choice. we have a business to fight for. And that's what was happening. You know what I mean? Like when I came on, it was, we have to fight to do this. We have to fight to keep, you know, these doors open. And, you know, not all the changes obviously happened overnight or.
Sure. I think they happened overnight.
Very quick.
Very quick.
The second you guys got a little comfortable, I'll just throw another one out in there. I got real good at, you know, 8 p.m. text messages. Doesn't this sound like a great idea? And you were on board, and then the next morning you're like, why did I say yes to that?
No, change is hard. It's always hard, and you look back and you think, you know, why didn't we try these things sooner? But you're in such a mode of same thing day in and day out, and then, you know, something like this happens and somebody shines a light on, maybe we should try this or try that, and kicking and screaming doing it, but it's been a huge impact on, you know, keeping up with the times, keeping up with all the competition that's out there. You have to, because they're all in the same boat and they're all struggling for that dollar too. So, you know, you have to grow and get into the new, now younger generation that we're striving for. So.
Well, you guys had such an amazing following of people. I mean, that wasn't something that we had to even focus on. You guys are well known in the area. There's 5 locations. There's been many more over, you know, the past 4 years. So you guys already had a huge following. I mean, I know like my husband grew up eating your guys' food. I didn't, because I'm not from here. But I know so many people that grew up just like eating your guys' food every single week. Like I love Serrano's. I would go there every Sunday after church, or we would do this every Monday. This is just, it was the family spot.
Right.
And for a really long time, you guys were it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were the only real place like this out there and available. Then what happened is people start, you know, things started popping up.
Yeah.
And, you know, you still had such a great following, but could you bring people back to you? You know, the people who were popping up had maybe a little bit more of a contemporary edge about it. Had something, you know, new that they were offering that maybe you guys hadn't had. Although they still do chips, bean dip, and salsa free to your table every single time, and I highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
That will never go away. So, you know, when I first came on with you guys, obviously I was brought on to kind of help get you guys reopen after the lockdown. You guys were still doing to go though, every single week. You guys never stopped. And something that I think, you know, is worth mentioning, you know, you made sure that your teams were taken care of during that process. I'd really like it if you could kind of share with everybody some of the things that you guys did for your team members during the initial lockdown, because I think that really really says a lot about who you guys are as people, why it's been such an amazing experience working with you guys every single day, and you know, kind of help other people maybe formulate those relationships with the new teams that they're building now, because I think everybody lost a lot of their team members and they're having to rebuild. So,
okay. So when the initial lockdown happened, we of course had to furlough quite a large portion of our staff when we went all to go. But in exchange for that, what we tried to do for everybody was we tried to give them a meal a week, and we gave everybody a family pack so they could at least feed their families. Even if they weren't working, they were able to come in, pick up their food. And that was one way that we knew that at least they were getting something and they were able to feed their families for however long that would last them. And that was kind of our way of trying to take care of our people. And we were very lucky when we reopened, we got back probably 90% of our staff.
So it was more. It was probably, I would say 98% at least.
Yeah.
Because I remember being shocked and just being like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like it where you know, you guys had that many loyal employees, which was so amazing. But at the same time, also became something that we kind of had to overcome along the way with changes. Yes, these people have been with us for a really long time, but you know, but should they still be here now? And those were kind of some really hard decisions and things that we had to kind of address, and things that I really tried to like, you know, kind of help you guys see along the way, is that, you know, if somebody's still doing the same thing after 30 years, we might have a problem, especially as we're trying to reintroduce, or introduce new plates and new recipes and new this and new this and new this. And you have somebody who's been doing the exact same thing for 30 years, 20 years, whatever it is, any sort of like, long-term position, that can be difficult. And, I know that we experienced that quite often, but tell everybody kind of about what that process was like and, what they can expect themselves, with long-term employees.
Well, I think a lot of our long-term employees at first, I mean, just like myself, I had a hard time with the changes, but as you get into it and as you realize, oh, this is actually a better way of doing it, a faster way, a more efficient, presentable way, a lot of them jumped on board, there were some maybe that fought it along the way and some that maybe fell away and didn't want to stay with us, but that's okay. I mean, as you go, you bring new people on, they're on fire, they want to be a part of the business and family, and so you just kind of keep, you keep going forward. You can't look back and worry. You just have to keep moving forward. People will stay with you if they're on board, or they'll move away, and you have to just keep going and hiring people and get some more people that have the the energy and the feeling to grow.
Well, and I think, it's something to consider is that, it's no hard feelings.
Right.
If when we're trying to introduce like these changes and things like that, we're fighting for the business.
Sure.
And these are the things we just have to do in order to be, in order to keep those doors open, in order to stay relevant, in order to compete right now. Because, it's not like it was sunshine and lemons before COVID.
Right.
You know what I mean? We were struggling then. And now you have a pandemic that comes in and kind of shuts everybody down. And really, I think, you guys were some of the, highlights that I experienced during this pandemic that really took an opportunity to look at all aspects of your operation.
Right.
And just kind of say, okay, let me just remind myself, even though change is hard, even though it sucks, even though it can be like overwhelming, even though it may be not broken, so let's not fix it. But really, does something have to be broken in order to not fix it? It could still be bent. It could still not be working. There could still be a better way. And you guys were great at seeing that opportunity, running with it. I mean, I had to nudge.
Yeah, you had to like there it is right there. Really. No, but I mean, honestly, the pandemic and all this lockdown and everything was, don't get me wrong, it was a bad thing. But for us, in a way, it slowed us down enough to go, wow, we can make some changes right now. This is actually a great time to try these things because we can, and we have our staff that are still on board, and we have customers that are coming in the door, or on to-goes or whatever. But it's a good time because we weren't so overwhelmed and busy where we couldn't actually implement the changes along the way, because it took, we had to go to 5 different stores to make sure everybody was the same. And so that in itself is, there's good and bad with what happened. So.
Well,
No, go ahead.
as a restaurant, you're never given the opportunity to shut down and have one single specific thing that you're focusing on and nothing else.
Yeah.
And that was the opportunity we were given. And the fact that we didn't have customers coming into the restaurants, we were able to fix things that had been broken for a long time that we couldn't fix. We were able to update, do all those things, but also, like what you're saying, look at everything because we only have to focus on to-goes. That's it. So we can have our brain power and focus on everything else and making things better along the way too. So and that's something that you're never given.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, time is always something that kind of is lacking, right? Which is why, change, I think, is just hard in general for a lot of people because, the question always comes back to, well, if I do this, is it going to add more time in my day? Is it? And that's really what it comes down to. I'm just trying to look for things that don't add more time. And with change, I think you guys totally understood this almost immediately, is that it's not like it's going to get easier that second. It's probably actually going to get harder first, and then it starts getting easier. And I think, your guys are starting to realize that too, even with staffing and even with kind of switching things up. I mean, we've done new plates, new recipes, new menu items. We've just launched a test kitchen. We have, items that are just kind of being, created every single day. You guys are, all over social media now. I mean, there's so many things that we've dove into. We rebuilt entire teams. We've shifted people. Hey, you know what? I know that this person has been with us for a really long time, but maybe they're not cut out for the job that we need them to do anymore because the job now has changed.
Yeah.
So let's move them over here, and now they're succeeding and they're doing really well in those positions, right? I don't know really where I was going with that one, but
It's good. You can.
thank you, sunshine and lemons. You had mentioned, your to-goes and the fact that you guys really kind of took the time to focus in on that. One of the first leadership talks I did was actually about the to-go business because, kind of mastering that, and you guys gave me the inspiration for that talk as well, because you guys really did kind of go in and master that whole side of your business. And what we did was we took two different, ways of thinking. You have a dining customer and what it takes in order to engage, deliver, succeed their expectations, and then you have a to-go business that require two totally different business models where it never did before.
Yeah.
Right. And that was kind of, I think, a learning experience for not just you guys, that was everybody. I remember so many people talking about this to-go business is killing me. I don't know how to keep up. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And it's like we forgot to take a look at to-go's. It used to be that like we would have a host or something, a host or two hosts. And, they might have to take, 10 orders a night.
Yeah.
Now it's 60, 70, and it could be in a matter of an hour and a half.
Right.
And so we had to sit down and come up with a structure and a plan of attack for this. This is maybe, 70% of your business in an hour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You had to switch people around. We couldn't use just the hostesses that maybe get 10 orders. We had to use servers, bring them in, the stronger servers that knew the menu well and could make sure that those plates went out exactly like you wanted them and everything was in it, because sometimes things get forgotten or whatever, and you have to make sure your best people are in that position.
And in that time, it's like you make one mistake and that person will not come back. There's no second chances when you're in that situation.
Yeah.
I feel like you're 100% right. I think that there was a lot of people over the last 8 months that I think our general demographic, no matter really who it is, at first really was kind of considerate, caring, understood what we were going through, and then there was a switch that happened.
Yep,
absolutely.
And I think a lot of people experienced that where, maybe they were really sick and tired of being locked in their home. Yeah. They had their kids screaming and whatever it was, all of a sudden we just didn't have the loyalty that we once did, even with our regulars.
Right.
Absolutely. That was it. You had one shot to get it right, and you had to get it right. And I think, I said that to you guys a couple times, and you guys took it really seriously when I said that, and I think that's what made the difference too, was just, having the trust with one another. I mean this when I'm saying it. I see it all the time. Yes, there's people that are understanding. Yes, there's people that get it, that this is new for everybody, or that you just had to, furlough your entire staff, you're bringing it back, they could be brand new. But I promise you that the majority of those people who really do understand it work in the industry.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, they don't get it. So, what was I going to ask you guys next? I want to make sure we have that tendency of kind of drifting, and now I'm I don't even know where we drifted. What was the moment for you, especially Lorraine, where you got to that point where at first everything was kind of scary, and every change especially, obviously, but things were just a little bit more intimidating, and now we're at a point where I'm hey, let's give this a shot. What do you think? And you're yeah, sounds good. What shifted there?
I think just the confidence in myself, probably more than anything. Things start to, you're in a swirl. You're kind of in a mode where you're just spinning or just doing the same thing. And then something like this happens and you're wow, and then you come along and you're let's try this. And I'm like, no, let's not. And then finally, you do, and you open yourself up and you realize, hey, you know what? That wasn't so bad. It works. Then you just build on it. You build on the confidence of, this is working. We can do this. It's not as hard as I thought. It might be a little hard, but we can get through it. And then it just builds. The confidence builds. And that's really what happened with me, is my self-confidence built. It grew. And okay. So really, that's kind of where I'm at. It's just I see things now, and I'm not scared. It's like, no, we can do that. We can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes down to like anything. Everything new is a little bit scary.
Sure.
And so having somebody kind of by your side, and I know, like, for me, like, anytime I had to experience something new, it was a lot easier when I felt like I had somebody by my side
Sure.
that could help navigate the situation if it got to a point where I just really didn't know what to do anymore. And then you get to a point where you're like, you know what, everything is kind of figure outable. In this business, it really is. It's about kind of staying on your feet. Hold on 1 second. Let me make sure we're live. Everything is always kind of capable. Oh, okay, good. We had a comment. I wanted to make sure that it was actually on live. Okay. But then, once it clicks, right? Once you kind of get to that point that you just know, like, I'm gonna get through this kind of no matter what happens. I mean, we've had now people come through and you're like, so-and-so, just quit. We're like 4 months ago, it would have been like, so-and-so just quit. I don't know what we're going to do. How are we going to get through the day? How are we going to get through the weekend? And now you're in a point where you're like, I'm just going to shift this person here and move this person here and move this person over here. Now we're covered. Everything's good. And I just figured it out in 3 minutes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you stepped into your leader. You now are the leader of what is happening here. You just need to start saying, I mean, damn executive chef. Right? And where before it was almost like you felt, I think, what if they know more than me?
Yeah, that's exactly
Right.
it.
But the truth is that there's a lot of times where I've been in, leadership positions, especially, where my employees do know more than me. You want to know why? Because they do it every single day.
Sure.
They know how to make that salsa quicker. They know how to make that dressing faster. Their knife skills are going to be better than mine. They know how long something's going to take in the oven. It doesn't mean that I'm not the director, though.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And watching you especially step into like that director role, it was like, holy crap. And once she did, right, we were like scared of her.
Whatever.
And it's true. You know it. We were like clapping, cheering.
Exactly.
You on. You make me proud.
But what, also with the staff that you have, the ones that they see that and they grow too. We were in such a make things
as the day.
but not only that, but making our stuff, so they didn't make any mistakes or didn't, we just had it like in a box. Here, you can do this, just make it like this. But now we've given them a little more freedom to grow into the positions that they're in, like our cooks that are in the mornings or whatever. We have to make sure that they're tasting food, that they're checking it, they're making sure that it's seasoned correctly. Where before we would limit them on some of that stuff, and we would be the ones going in. But now we've given them a little more ownership of their kitchens a little bit more. So where they grow and they feel better, and then they're proud of what they're putting out too. So it's
well, it also allows for, because of that, because we didn't put almost training meals on everybody, right? And leave those training meals on. Eventually, training meals have to come off.
Right.
Eventually, they're going to have to ride the damn bike,
Mhm.
right? But we were keeping it so that, we felt like we were in control of the situation, but really what was happening was that there was no control actually happening because they were just getting used to that training wheel,
Right.
and then you had to put another one on
Sure.
and another one, and pretty soon you're carrying them around in
Yeah.
a baby vision.
Right.
The hell it is. You know what I'm saying?
I have no idea what you're just talking about. Okay.
It's a baby thing.
Okay.
But because we just kept saying, I'm gonna do this so that we have full control over everything that's happening. And they were like, okay, well then we're never gonna adapt, we're never gonna grow, we're never gonna be able to make educated decisions. They're never gonna be able to be empowered to make the decisions because they're not there yet. And it really started with salt.
Yeah,
for us,
exactly.
Right?
Definitely.
We took the salt out of, any type of, spice seasoning mix or anything like that, and required them on each level to season to taste.
Sure.
And that's hard. Okay? It is really hard. There were struggles there for sure. But when was the last time that you felt like you had it?
Right.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's been months.
Right.
Months. They now know how to cook.
Yeah.
We turn them into cooks.
Yes.
Who can handle something? If we said, hey, I want to start doing the quesadilla tacos this week, which we now have.
Wow.
I know I said that
really good.
I had to practice that for a really long time. Which we now have available at all 5 of our locations. So please come check them out. It's delicious. But we were able to do that, right? All it took was us saying, hey, so-and-so, can you, why don't you go practice making these for us? And then 5 minutes later, they came out. We were like, these are delicious. And it was on a menu within 1 week.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that simple and that quick. And that's how quick you have to be able to make changes if you want to keep up.
Right. And these specials that are coming out, I mean, we've got, before, we would only run like one special and it would be simple and all this, but these are specials that are a little more elaborate, a little more, and they're doing them. I mean, it's like, they can do it. And so that makes it so much easier on us. We set it out there for them. We give them the tools to succeed in doing it, and they do it, and they're making them.
Well, and what happens then is that, you're building your teams, right?
Definitely.
I said this from the very beginning, all of these other things are great, right? We changed out all the look, the presentation of all the food. We got new China, and we're doing all these things. We have this test kitchen, we have this, but really what it's all doing is coming full circle back to the team that we've been focusing on since day one.
Sure.
You asked me, how can you make my life easier, right? Everybody, and I'm still making my life harder. We're still on the hard part.
We're getting there though, I know it.
But you have people now that you can say, can you just, handle that? I'm going to say, yes, I can handle that.
I know, I love that when they say that. Yeah, no problem. Awesome, excellent, great. So,
it was really funny the other day when you're like, and I came in and everything was wrapped and it was ready to go and it was labeled and it was perfect and it was like in a line.
I know.
And it was
just, no problem. That was awesome.
Life easier.
It does. There are glimpses of that. There are.
I know, but then I come in and I'm like, so maybe we should try one more.
I know. I'm like,
one more like that. I know, but we just launched a test kitchen.
I know.
Like that's cool. That's fun.
Definitely.
And it allows all of the team members to kind of start bringing ideas to the table. I mean, they're all talking, they're interacting, they're getting excited about engaging with guests, which was another, something that we had to really pay attention to and focus on. That, like, we don't want our guests to just be, we don't want our servers to be order takers. We want them to give our guests an experience.
Right.
Because we knew that once those people kind of left their homes and started venturing out into dining in again, people were searching.
Mm-hmm.
They were searching for an experience, and we needed to be the ones to give it to them, right? Because that was what was going to take maybe somebody new and make them long term with us.
Mm-hmm.
Take somebody who was maybe on the fence because we messed up their to-go in the very beginning before we had gotten it down,
Right.
and make them loyal again. But also it allows us to go after, a completely new demographic that we weren't going after, to begin with.
True.
Right? So lots of crazy fun things. If you could go through like everything that we've done and sum it up in the last 5 months, what would it be?
We've done a lot.
We have done a lot. I mean, talk about a Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
Like layers, all the little layers of what we've been doing, because I mean, there's just so much. It's kind of hard to single anything out or whatever, because all this has been going on, and this test kitchen is going to be, there's going to be so much happening, and it's kind of neat because you can try it, try it here and see if it's really going to, see if it appeals to people, and then move it on to the other stores, and you've had practice, you've had staff here that have been practicing and using it, doing it, and then
Well, it's
it makes
almost like
it
the
easier.
secret menus,
Uh-huh.
like at,
Sure.
where are they?
Like in and out.
Yeah, like those are just fun things for people to kind of, get people excited, tease them a little bit, have some new items. And again, exactly what you said, like it allows us the opportunity to test things out, see if people are really gonna like it, see if our servers even know how to say a quesadilla.
Yeah.
Talk about a Bloody Mary, which has like 17 items, it's this tall, and there's a taco on it. You know what I mean? Like, how cool is that? But it's allowed us to say like, ooh, we have to build that a certain way so it doesn't topple over, or hey, maybe we, should put this piece here or this piece here, or whatever it is, or it's too spicy, or, people are like, wow, this is an appetizer and a drink.
Right.
And it's like, oh, so maybe we should up the price. You know what I mean? Things like that, where you just don't normally get that interaction. With your normal menu, where it's too late, it's on the menu, it's everywhere, and we're just kind of doing this every single day.
That's true.
So, I mean, yeah, change has been funny, here, it's been crazy. I can't even, when we like really think back to the very beginning of it all, it was just like, I remember it was like one recipe. I was like, let's just, maybe just tweak this a tiny little bit, or, have you thought about doing these items? And you're just like, no.
But then you start, thinking, well, yeah, why do we do it like that? Well, that old saying of because we've always done it that way, but it wasn't always the best way, and maybe not the most efficient way. And we found some really, good, our bean dip. The things that we've done and we're able to perfect with that, that's a huge deal for us. And just that one item, our signature item that we perfected really, and that just leads to more things. Then you, like you said, you become more confident and like, wow, we should try tres leches cake or whatever. Did I say that?
You did say it.
Oh
I thought there was too many desserts.
There's a lot of desserts.
I can't help it. I'm a pastry chef at heart. Okay.
Embrace the trace.
Embrace the trace. So now we're smiling and we're excited and we're happy with each other, and we're laughing, and we obviously love the hell out of each other now. But were there moments where, how did you guys really feel about me at certain times? Because I had to come in and I had to say some things, and there was a lot of changes.
Yeah. Oh man, behind your back, right? No, I'm just kidding. No, honestly, I think we were ready for it in a lot of ways. I think we just needed that push.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, I don't think there was ever a like, oh my gosh, Rebekah's here again, No, I think we were like, okay, is Rebekah coming today? Yeah, she's coming today. Okay, great. Then, we have a plan.
What are we
going to work on? What's our focus today? Or what are we going to be doing? Because there was just so much to do. And we did it.
You think about the Bible, what I mean? Like the Bible alone. We also got branding pictures of every single item on your menu, plus the 1,000 of other things that we've created along the way.
Right.
We've gone through pricing and created SOPs and job descriptions and a whole new recipe book.
Tons.
There's it's crazy.
It feels like we've been doing this for so long, and it's only been this amount of time, and because we got so much done in such a short amount of time, but it just kept rolling.
But you said it's because you were ready.
Yeah.
Ready for it.
Yeah. We knew that there was a lot of stuff. We would go through a menu and we'd say, we don't order that item because we don't like how it tastes. But there was nothing ever pushing us to like change what we were doing. Right? It was just the same thing every single time, or we didn't know how to change it. That would benefit everybody. And I think it took somebody coming in and pushing us every single day and saying, okay, well, yeah, but why is it like that? Why don't you like that? Why, why?
Mm-hmm. How can we make it better? How can we change it a little bit? Tweak it this way or that way to make it, something more appealing to more people. So, but.
Well, and I think the thing that you guys were really great about too is that, change isn't just hard for like a person that, a client that I'm working with, or for those people. Change is also hard for your, your demographic. People who've been with you for a really, really long time. Like, change can be, well, I don't want you to incorporate this, or why did you touch that, or why did you move this around? And it's like, it's just a language. It's gonna be okay. Everybody, it's just a line.
A little cilantro, a little queso fresco, we're okay.
Everything's fine. But normally those kinds of, that feedback can often scare people into running right back to the way we were used to.
Almost.
Yeah.
There was a couple of things almost.
Yeah, but that we really had to just kind of go, we're gonna stay strong.
Yeah, I know.
We're gonna push through
Just give it
this.
another week.
It was like that. Calm down. It's okay. Let's just keep going. Keep going.
Let's educate. Let's explain why. Let's talk about, if there's a little tweak here, it's because now we're using, a slow braised this, or a 12-hour this, or fresher ingredients. We found like a local this that we want to incorporate. That kind of stuff. And then once people kind of got it, they're like, oh, okay, we also want to make sure that we can offer something that's allergy friendly.
Yeah.
We had nothing on the menu.
I know.
Nothing that was allergy friendly, really, and now we do. Because guess what? That's the day and age that we live in.
It's true.
Every single day. So you have to have some sort of options. I have my allergies, you know what I mean? And I look for those things on menus, and there's a lot of people that really have serious allergies. And so it's important to be able to be something for everyone. You know what I mean? You don't have to be everything for everyone, but you have to be something for everyone.
Right.
Let me see what else. What do you think out of all of the changes that we've gone through? And it was changing out the plates, and switching around staff, and introducing, even having like video tutorials of how we're doing the items, and we put together all of those things. What do you feel like still right now is probably the hardest thing that you guys face in your business that we haven't kind of overcome yet?
Okay. Personally, I think, and I think that this is something that, you're constantly going to have to work towards, but because of the way that our business is structured, and the fact that we have 5 different locations, and it's just human nature that something is always going to be changing, something is always going to be happening. Some person over here is going to not be happy and quit, and some person over here, whatever it is, or the food over here doesn't taste quite like the food over here, whatever. So I think that the implementation of it, and like you said, the video stuff that we started doing, the pictures that we did, the step-by-step, we've never done that before. And we always, before, it was like, okay, well, we just have to go out and show at each different location and take the time and do that. And there was a much easier and a shorter way to do it. But I think that is something that we're still struggling with. And I think, you're never going to get out of that.
Right.
But I think making it better and making it more efficient definitely helps with all of that, and making sure that, now we bring our staff here and we show everybody at the same time. So every single person gets the exact same experience. They get the exact same explanation. There's no questions after, and that's new also, that we had never done before. And that helps a lot. So that is something that I think.
But I think just building off of that, in having the 5 locations, what it's done is allowed us to be able to go out to each store more often, be there, go in and check on stores, make sure that we're walking the line and tasting the food and making sure it's up to our standards, but also communicating with the staff that's there. How's it going? What's happening? They're seeing us more than they probably did, a few months ago, a lot more. In my case, I'm visiting the stores quite a bit more now. So, you go in and you check the stores and you make sure that everything that we're doing is followed through, and so that's just we should have been doing that a lot earlier and stuff, but you get more free time in a way by the stuff we're doing. It seems like we're busy, constantly doing this stuff, but you do have time that you can slip away and you're going, all right, I'm going to go visit the stores today, and so you do that more and more, and it really helps the morale too. You know, when they see you out at the stores, they're like, oh, here they are, and they want to, see how we're doing or whatever. And it's just a huge thing. So.
Well, and I think too, it lets your team know, which again, we can only do so much.
Right.
We have to have those teams.
Sure.
We really do. And they need to know who's in charge. They need to know that you're the boss, you're the end, and they'll say all. But they need to know that you're also there for them, and that you want to be there to support them on a Friday night or a Saturday night, or that you'll jump on the line, or that you'll jump on and host, and do this. And I think that that's been really great in kind of also allowing you guys to understand what it is that they struggle with.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Getting more involved in that because, you have had the opportunity to kind of free up your time, free up your mind a little bit. We all kind of get, a little tunnel vision. Like this is just where I'm stuck at. I can't offload this, or I can't do this, or I have to be the one that does this. Otherwise, it's not going to get done. And then all of a sudden you're losing control all around you. And it's been great kind of watching you guys now when you guys go to the stores, they're like, hey, we're glad to have you. I mean, to a point where you're like, all right, hey,
you do your stuff and we'll just kind of monitor and make sure, if you need any help, we'll step in.
I'm here for you.
I'm here for you.
But I'm not your lead line coach. Or I'm not, for Sarah, I'm not the full-time to-go person,
right.
But you are the fastest at it, so there's that.
And the most organized for sure.
Yes. Yeah, so I think, going back to, my question, and you guys, I think answered exactly what I was thinking, is that the hardest and the struggle is still going to be staffing. Building teams, and stuff over there. Building teams, continuing to build leaders. But how do you feel about your staffing, the staffing crisis? I guess because it can become a staffing crisis. I know that I've experienced that at many different places. How do you feel now going into the busy months coming up, even though you know that you could be short-staffed in certain areas? How do you feel? How do you feel like if you're equipped to handle it, I guess?
I've definitely seen all of our staff in back of house and front of house step up, I think, a lot more and take on a lot more and be comfortable handling more than what they ever have before. I think because we were so limited on who we could have on and how many we could have on during the shutdown, it forced everybody to get out of, this is my job and that's not my responsibility, that's not my job. And so they were able to take on a lot more.
So with team.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, we're nowhere near fully staffed across the board by any means. But it's not something that I am sitting at home thinking about on, during the night going, oh my God, how are we going to make it through tomorrow? How are we going to staff this or whatever? Because I think they, as a whole, can handle a little bit more than what they have before.
Well, yeah, I mean, you start taking the training mills away from other people. And I think, the majority of people are looking for, our guests are looking for experience, our teams are looking for opportunity. That will never go away. You know what I mean? The second that our teams stop looking for opportunity is the moment to say, you probably don't have, it's probably time to move on. Right. You know what I mean? Because we're changing, we're evolving, we're up against, this crisis, or it should hit the fan one more day in a row or whatever, you know what I mean? We're constantly dealing with all of that. And if we don't have team members who are looking for opportunity, then, it's just time to let them go and move on. Because how many times have we had situations where, 2 or 3 people called in sick and we didn't replace them, right? But we had such a great, dinner rush, because now all the little rock stars that we did have had to together work together better as a team, and then they would clock back in and do dishes at the end of the night. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of teams that we want, and that's what you should be striving for. So, I think what we have learned along the way is that, it's okay to say goodbye to people. It's okay to embrace new people coming in. It's not as hard to train, to hire as we used to make it out to be. You know what I mean? Like the process that we used to have in place to actually just hire somebody, to interview somebody for a host position. Right. I mean, it was like, if we could drag it out any longer, let's just do it, you know? And now it's just like, that's okay. You know, we'll bring them in, we'll get them trained. And I feel like everybody knows how to do that now. And that was kind of like the whole goal. And it's only going to get easier and better. And people are going to be able to take on more. So, well, I feel like we've kind of talked through every type of change that we have gone through. You guys have done an amazing job with your changes, and you're going to continue. And
as long as we have sunshine and light.
Exactly. Real quick.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
This is what we do when we're feeling a little stressed out.
Oh, yes.
Wonderful sunshine and lemons, and it's hand sanitizer. So there's that. No, but I mean, I just want to let you guys know, like, this has been an amazing experience for me. I couldn't even begin to explain it. Like, it's been awesome watching you guys. You know, not just you, obviously, the entire family, but you know, obviously there's a special little bond here between the three of us. And I just, it's probably going to go down as one of my biggest highlights in my career. Like, yeah,
highlight reel.
It's just been, yeah, it's been awesome, and watching you guys just, you know, kind of, you know, tiptoe and then just like kind of run full speed. And now I'll get like messages at, you know, 9 o'clock where you're like, maybe we should try this. And I'm like, who am I talking to?
Believe me, when I texted, I'm like, did I just say that? Oh my gosh, what did I say?
What did I? And I'm already like starting in the morning, first thing a.m. So, but thank you for, you know, allowing me the time to kind of be able to do this with you guys. It's been amazing, and we're not done. We got so much more.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I just say the other way around. I'm like, sit down, please. I wanted to actually check to see if we have any questions while we have some time. So let me just go through. Does anybody have any questions? We have Teresa, we have Bryce, Jack, Jelly. Hi, guys. We have a little bit of time still to go, and so you're fine. Everything's fine. You see, it's so funny. So Lorraine is like, you're a lot like I used to be. I used to be really terrified of like hives all the way up my face, like all the way down. I couldn't, every time I spoke. Remember the first time I had to stand up in front of you guys, I was like, I'm okay. It sounds like I'm about to cry. I promise I'm not. It's just what happens to me. But you're so good at it.
Oh, stop it right now.
Which is why I'm so glad that you're, we could do this, because next week we're going to be going live and you're going to be doing cooking demos for all of us.
No, I don't think
it
so.
Only has a reach, it only has a reach of 40,000 people, so it's no big deal.
Oh, you signed me up.
He wants to know, he said, how do you come up with ideas for the test kitchen?
And
what are the most accepted new items? Like, what are the favorites?
Oh, that I can answer a lot easier.
What is it?
The quesadilla tacos are like,
the salads are excellent.
Yeah.
I love the new salads that we've come up with, and they're nice baked salads. They're hearty.
I think what we do is we get hungry and then we sit around and go, what sounds really good? Let's make that.
Well, and what you said, like, okay, Rebekah, you come up with all of these ideas. The only reason that I can even kind of spit things out like that is because I had, coming from a catering background, every single day, like a bride would come in and she would just play, create this, and it has to be something brand new and fresh and easy and something that I've never seen before anywhere. And so you're kind of just like walking around, you're like, black beans, corn, red peppers, romaine, actually dressing, let's just see, this will work, and let's put it together and send it out.
Yeah.
But now you guys know how to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I think the process of before, it was like you were almost overthinking it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, just put food together. You know what I mean? At this point, everything in your kitchen, because you're a Mexican restaurant, it's not like you're whatever, any other type of restaurant that has like 5 different cuisines. You know how like you go like some of like the breweries and they have like, chicken lettuce wraps next to like, the barbecue ribs. You're like, this is all the same stuff. So it's a lot easier to just say almost everything we have is probably going to go together well.
Right.
You're just mixing, you're playing, and it's fun.
But the other thing too is that with finding new items is you ask, sometimes your staff, like you were saying before, they have ideas and they come up with stuff and it's, and they're like, why don't we try this? And it was like, let's try that, and then you just kind of perfect it. And before you know it, you got something new. So.
Oh, I know. Well, and then it's so funny too, because, we have, some of the ideas we've come up with, and we're like, these are really great. And then the team members come in and they should be better at it. That's the point. They're the best. They should be better at it. Do it every single day. They'll come in and they'll be like, so it's good. But
we're so excited. We're like,
But that's great because, they cook it every single day. They see it. They should know that product better than anybody.
Yeah.
So, it has been really kind of fun to watch people and see how excited everybody gets. I always love when the family comes in, they're like, we had this already, it's so good.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, what else? Anything more on changes? Well, yeah, I know, I see. Okay, so next week, I think I told everybody I'm going to be skipping every other week. So we're going to actually go live again next week because Thanksgiving is the following week. I'm going to have my girl Rochelle from Creme de la Creme Cakes. She's literally, I don't even know what to describe her. She's like, she can make things that like nobody, I don't understand how she does it. Okay, so she owns her own business. We're going to talk about kind of her process from going from the corporate world and right into launching your own business, what that dive is like, and some of her struggles, some of her successes, how she's gotten to where she is right now. Pretty proud of her. She was a single mom and she just went in and did it, and she's seriously talented. Her work is absolutely amazingly beautiful. So I'm really excited for that. And then I think we'll be right into December. And so again, I think I mentioned this last time, if there's anybody out there that is interested in coming on to leadership talks or has any topics that you kind of want me to address, or reach out to, people that might have some insight, please let me know. I would love to hear about it. Again, I'm so glad that you guys are here with me today. Thank you. And
Thank you.
You did so good. I'm really proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, see, now you never be scared again.
No, never. Never done.
All right. Mm-hmm. All right, well, we're getting really excited because we have a big event coming up in just 2 days from now as well, which is another change for you guys.
yes.
So we'll be excited. I'm going to share all the pictures from the event that we're doing on my social media. After we get them, Kelly Rowe is going to be doing our photography. She's amazing. She's just kind of launching her photography business. I'm really excited about that. I'm trying to get her on leadership talks as well, probably in December. So all my ladies, got to support my lady friends.
That's right.
So again, thanks for coming on. And anybody who has any questions at all, if you're struggling with anything, and you feel like you need to, you need some help, or you need somebody to kind of come on your team, you can definitely email me at info@takingtheroadconsulting.com. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Cheers.